Hello, my name is Jamie Packer, and this is my consulting bid for Fins and Feathers Research Unit located in Auckland, New Zealand. We're going to begin with the biological ecology of selected species. Movement patterns. The New Zealand sea lion, their population stays within the Dunedin Islands, Enderley Island, Figure 8 Island, and recently the nearby mainland. The dusky dolphin, they have a diurnal movement. This means they go from and to land daily, and they can travel an upwards of 750 kilometers, but there is no true seasonal migration patterns that they show. The little penguin, they go to sea during the day to feed, and then return to the mainland to their nests at night. The royal spoonbill, they generally stay near breeding grounds year-round, but will travel if food is scarce. The Chatham oystercatcher, adults are sedentary to selected islands, and however, the juveniles travel to nearby islands before choosing one when they reach sexual maturity. The great egret travels through New Zealand, including the nearby islands as well. These species show true migration patterns. We begin with the humpback whale. They can travel up to 5,000 miles between low and high latitude for different reasons, for mating grounds or feeding grounds. The leopard seals migrate north to the sub-Antarctic islands during autumn and winter, and then some of them do stay up north year-round as well. Southern elephant seals, they migrate to the sub-Antarctic mating grounds from December to March. And the black petrel, their breeding grounds are in cooler New Zealand waters from July to October, and then they migrate back to the tropical Pacific waters of South America. Foraging behaviors for each species. The New Zealand sea lion feeds on a variety of benthic and pelagic prey, and they often dive to find their prey. Dusky dolphins and humpback whales both choose to herd their prey into tight balls towards the surface and to increase their efficacy. The leopard seal, they are opportunistic and have a wide range of prey, and they use their speed and their long teeth. Southern elephant seals, they can dive for nearly 2 hours and can surface for 2 minutes in between these dives. The little penguin, they form small groups and hunt together each day, and they hunt at the surface roughly 25 kilometers away from land. The royal spoonbill, they feed on multiple prey species, including fish, crustaceans, and frogs. They wade through estuaries with unique vibration detecting bills so they can feed in murky water at night. Black petrels, they typically feed on food scraps from marine mammals. The Chatham oystercatcher, they forage along coastlines and lagoons, while the great egret wades through and slowly along coastlines to catch prey in the shallows. Social systems. The New Zealand sea lion is philopatric. They have a strong urge to stay and return home. Some females do travel inland, which is the only pinniped species to do this. And 68% of their population stays within the Auckland Islands. The dusky dolphin, they form strong bonds with each other within the pod, and they're seen interacting with other cetacean species as well. This is kind of known as a fission-fusion society, where pod sizes increase during foraging and decreases when traveling. Southern elephant seals, they're social during mating season and during haul-outs, which is when they get out of the water, but males can be aggressive with each other. The little penguin and the Chatham oystercatcher are both monogamous, and they form loosely organized colonies on the mainland. Royal spoonbills, they are also monogamous through the mating season. They live in flocks of upward of 10,000 individuals, and they are friendly as well, sometimes being found with other species like ibises, herons, and cormorants. The more solitary species include the humpback whale. They are mostly solitary other than immediate family members. This includes the mother, the calf, and the father, but it has been seen of upwards of 15 individuals traveling together. Leopard seals are also solitary. They're social for 1 month while mating, and then after giving birth, the mother will help the baby for approximately 1 month, and then they are on their own. Southern elephant seals are solitary while at sea, but not on land. Black petrel, they're typically solitary at sea also, unless around a fishing vessel or pod of marine mammals where they feed, and they are monogamous during their mating season. The great egret is also solitary, except for breeding colonies known as rookeries. Rookeries contain about 50 mating pairs on the Waitangiroto River around September. The potential impacts of the project based on life history and adaptation of species. Tidal and wind turbines, like most advances, come with benefits as well as detriments. We benefit by using renewable energy and hopefully help to slow the effects of climate change, and some detriments apply to marine mammals and seabirds. Marine mammals can easily get caught in tidal turbines, leading to harm or even death, while seabirds have also been reported to being struck with these large blades, resulting in death. Auckland, New Zealand is home to many unique and threatened species and is a major migration route for many marine mammals and seabirds. I believe the tidal and wind turbines would be especially dangerous for the New Zealand sea lions, humpback whales, little blue penguins, and black petrels, but may be harmful to all species talked about today. When we place permanent structures into the ocean, we see a unique ecosystem form. Ropes, metal, and stone, and wood are extremely susceptible to being homes for sedentary creatures such as barnacles and mussels. These barnacles and mussels attract predators, which in return attract larger predators, so on and so forth until a community is formed. This community could create a hazardous environment for marine mammals and seabirds. The New Zealand sea lion is listed as endangered on the IUCN Red List, and their populations is still in decline. Being struck or stuck by these turbines would be destructive to their species. This would also affect dusky dolphins, leopard seals, and southern elephant seals. When switching over to how these turbines would affect migrating species, we look at the humpback whales. Humpback whales have a unique adaptation of echolocation, which allows them to produce sounds and listen to the reflection of those sounds and visualize what is ahead of them. This could be a variable, useful adaptation so that they avoid the turbine areas. This also makes them sensitive to noises, however. Turbines produce sounds which most likely would deter the humpback whales. And in the photo you can see a replication of, or an illustration of, how echolocation works. Switching over to our listed seabirds, because the little bird does not fly, they would be affected the same way as the marine mammals would. They would be attracted to the prey gathered around the turbines, and because they are so small, could be sucked right into and either seriously harmed or killed. Moving above the waterline, the black petrel would be very susceptible to being struck by turbine blades. They would be attracted to marine debris created by other predatory species due to their scavenger nature. If organisms were to get killed by either tidal or wind turbines, this would create an even larger area for easy prey for the black petrel. Other species, such as the royal spoonbill, Chatham oystercatcher, and the great egret, would most likely not be affected much due to them staying in estuaries and close to land. We can look at data from other parts of the world and predict how the same system may affect our environments. In this case, a photo taken from a report from Great Britain's titled "Puffins Pummeled, Offshore Wind Turbines Annihilating Britain's Seabirds, Entire Species Threatened." It shows how devastating wind turbines have been in Britain, and we can predict similar results here in Auckland. Current conservation efforts. Currently, the New Zealand sea lion and the Chatham oystercatcher are considered endangered according to the IUCN Red List, while the black petrel is vulnerable. In 2003, the New Zealand Sea Lion Trust was founded to provide protection to and educate about this critically endangered marine mammal species. This foundation works alongside the Department of Conservation to monitor the population status of this species. The Department of Conservation also covers annual reports of the black petrel near and on Great Barrier Island. Their 2001 to 2002 report on breeding states that of the 326 breeding pairs, they had a success rate of 73.3%. Over the course of multiple trips, a total of 179 black petrels were caught off the boat using a hand-cast net method and banded, which will be useful data for researchers in the future. Such reports are available on the Department of Conservation's website, or more specifically, to look at the 2021 to 2022 report, search for black petrel monitoring on Atoll, Great Barrier Islands 2021/2022, published in October of 2022. Scientist Tim Hunt has implemented cacophonators into environments where endangered seabirds inhabit, including the Chatham oystercatcher, as seen listed on the presentation. The cacophonator produces noise to attract animals, uses artificial intelligence to identify the species, and if determined to be an invasive species or predator, it will produce noise to scare them off. He hopes by using this technology he can protect endangered bird populations from predators as well as invasive species. When looking at new construction sites in the marine environment, it is important to think about the effects it may cause on the already existing habitat. The goal of this proposal is to study the effects of blue power renewables, tidal, and wind turbines on the selected marine mammals and seabirds. We will do this by studying the movement patterns and fatalities of each listed species and compare these patterns to past known maps. This project will begin with tagging these marine mammals and seabirds so we can get a better picture of where they are moving. To find wanted species, we will use multiple drones based off the back of our research vessel to look at multiple places at once. It is important to cover as much area as possible as quickly as possible. Once a selected species is found, we will attempt to tag as many individuals with GPS tracking markers, anklets for seabirds, suction cups for whales, and flipper tags for pinnipeds. Each species' movements will be tracked and graphed individually. Since tagging every individual is impossible, we will also set up hydrophones near the tidal and wind turbines to listen for what species are present. Each species has a unique call, squeak, and click, which can be used to determine species. To study fatalities, cameras will be placed on our hydrophones, which we can play back in the lab, as well as making weekly stops to make in-person evaluations. We will continue this process for 4 years, taking the last year to assess the data and form a conclusion of whether Blue Power Energy's tidal and wind turbines are destructive to our selected marine mammals and seabird populations. Here's my works cited, my second page of works cited. Thank you for listening to our presentation, and we look forward to hearing any questions and feedback that you have.